Have you ever seen the sun rise over Roman civilization? The rain pouring down over the Isles of Albion? Have you witnessed the sunset bleed all across the oceans? Or been on a military campaign that sees Rome's ships and legionaries take on the unruly barbarians of the north? If not, it might be because you haven't played Anno 117 Pax Romana yet. And I say yet, because in this video, I will tell you why you owe it to yourself, your inner child, and your inner Roman to do so. I am so happy that Ubisoft reached out to me for a collaboration on Anno 117, which is how I can show you this game in all its glory at this point, because Anno has managed in a highly competitive environment to become a serious contender for my top 3 games of the entire year. So make sure to follow my link below and check out Anno 117 Pax Romana for yourself, because this is something truly special. I want to let you in on a little secret of mine. Well, it's not necessarily a secret, but it is a fact that I don't really fall in love with new games every day. Even if I like a game, it needs that secret sauce to truly resonate with me, and for me to love every second of playtime. And for that to happen, a few things must go right. Of course, the gameplay must be fun, and in a city builder, that means that both the city building and everything around it must not just work, but be addicting on a foundational level. It means that extra attention must have been paid to the visuals and style, because how a city builder feels is so tied up to how it is portrayed. And of course, hidden in plain sight but also integral to any long-term gaming session is the soundtrack, a soundtrack with tunes and melodies that together create an immersive and romantic experience. Anno 117 is likely the most romantic city builder I have ever played. It is a true love letter not just to the golden age of Roman antiquity, but to city building itself. It somehow manages to expertly marry that sense of progression, of beginning small, expanding your little fishing village to something more prosperous and grand, something that just a few hours later has turned into a sprawling city, with multiple other aspects that makes this something of a large but cozy scale strategy game where just one save can span multiple days of playtime. And the thing is, you feel proud of the city you've built at every stage. And it's not just in warm and sunny Mediterranean conditions either, but in an entirely different part of the world too, Albion, and they somehow both work so insanely well. God, I love this game. Anno 117 Pax Romana, and from now on I'll just refer to the game as Anno, offers 2 main ways of playing, including the Endless mode, a sandbox open world game where you can create your own empire without following a pre-made set of missions. But today, I want to talk to you about the campaign, because Anno has single-handedly managed to bring back my love for campaigns in city builders, and let me tell you why. And of course, both of these campaigns can be played in single player and multiplayer. Games like Anno are complex, not necessarily in their concept, but rather in their execution, because Anno's design philosophy rests on the very simple truth of an ever-increasing difficulty, occurring incrementally of course, but one which can get out of hand if you don't pay attention. This means that what appears very simple in the beginning, as in you place down a woodcutter and a sawmill, place a few houses down and a fishing hut for food, gets ever more complex. Virtually every building requires timber, for example, essentially the most basic refined resource, and you'll find very soon that the most simplest of clothing, for your basic pops, will demand that you build resource gatherers and refiners, so a hemp farm and a spinner that turns the resource into a product your pops can actually use. Of course this is simple, but the product chains of Anno has always, and will in this game too, become more and more complex, demanding that you spend more workers on one building, or that more advanced pops have more advanced needs, and that those needs and resources can only be found on another island entirely, meaning that suddenly you're not just producing more diverse products for more diverse populations, but that you also have to set up trade lanes between your island territories, creating not just production chains, but systems of trade. And of course, where there is trade, there is danger, and suddenly you'll need a proper military arm to safeguard what you send across the oceans. In Anno's campaign, you get to rule over a new Roman colony in the province of Latium, proving your mettle as the new governor of a new town. The story sees you sharpen your governor skills all the while meeting various characters that inhabit this world and figuring out ways to help them. In the beginning, this will mean providing resources to the emperor for his wife's birthday, attempting to bring back a province toppled by a rogue volcano Pompeii style, and helping out a princess in need, but will soon see the imperial politics of Rome intervene. And just when you've become comfortable in Latium, the story opens up an incredible second act, when your governorship demands that you travel to Albion, the far reaches of the empire, where Roman civilization is nowhere to be seen, and where northern barbarians rule. Of course, compared to calm and sunny Latium, Albion is rough and weather-weary, rainy and unwelcoming. But of course, like any good Roman, you make do with what you have and turn clay and stone into marble. It might sound strange that leaving Latium could ever be fun, but Albion becomes more exciting and beautiful than I could have ever imagined, and I thank Anno's incredible art direction, visual flair, and game design for this in particular. Because even though you're using everything you've learned in Latium to build a new civilization in Albion, the pops are now slightly different, native to Albion of course, but will over time allow you to foster a type of Romano-British identity. Instead of your freemen being promoted to plebeians and then to equites for example, Albion sees waiters turn to smiths, aldermen, or instead of turning waiters to smiths, turn them into this special Roman Celtic mercators hybrid population, which brings some of that Roman flair to your northern province. Seeing this town grow and blossom into your largest yet feels incredible, especially as you're hearing a completely different set of music dynamically play. The cloudy and rainy weather with violent seas gives Albion that unique feel of being somewhere completely different, but that is also owed to the political environment. As you approach these new lands, you're met by the experienced procurator Corvinus, whose only outpost remains the Roman barracks at Whitecliff. Thing is, the Romans have largely been pushed out of Albion by the fearsome warrior queen Voada of the Skahach, who hates the Romans more than anyone. She rules her people from the fortified island of Carragmore, an impressive citadel far to the north. Succeeding in Albion will not only demand that you learn to adapt to northern tastes, from eating cockles and eels to cheese and drinking beer, making drinking horns and fine roast beef, but will also require of you keen military intellect and the ambition to tame these lands. You see, Voada is not passive and will attack you when she's able. In other words, Albion will see you begin your military expansion, combining your navy with your army. It will demand that your fleet take an active role in the patrolling of your seas, to sink enemy vessels or carry goods of their own. And when it's time, you must raise your host and take the fight to Voada yourself and besiege her stronghold. Or in fact, you don't necessarily have to. You see, there are several points in Anno's campaign where you get to make choices that impact the story. And because Anno has multiple factions in the game with their own opinion and relations with you, an option in the story is to befriend Voada's Celtic forces and instead of conquest, attempt to create lasting peace between your civilizations. With everything you've learned from Albion, the later stages of the campaign fully opens you up to a multi-province campaign, where you now govern the cities of both Latium and Albion at the same time. This means that you can dynamically switch between the two provinces at any point, allowing you to manage either one when you'd like or when it is needed. This is when Anno's true complexity comes into play, because not only will you have to get specific resources from specific islands, not only will you have to establish intra-province trade routes to feed and maintain your main cities, but now you can create trade routes that span your two provinces from south to north, bringing goods from faraway Albion like silver to Latium. As shipping will take you a long time, you can follow your fleets on this absolutely gorgeous marble map that connect our two provinces. And from there, well, you'll see what Anno 117 Pax Romana has in store when you play it yourself. But the genius of Anno, which I forgot to even say already because I'm just so mesmerized by this entire experience from start to finish, is that Anno 117, like no Anno before it by the way, is a master at introducing the game and its mechanics to the player. It does so gently, but firmly, so as to make you feel challenged, comfortable, and then challenged again when the opportunity arises. The beauty is that you're not challenged because you have no idea what's going on, but because of what the game throws at you. The cracks in your game plan will show when your city is on fire while you've been surprise invaded by barbarians after you refuse to pay the ransom for Roman prisoners, but because the game has been great at teaching you its ways, you'll know how to turn things around and feel all the better for it when you do. For a long time I had ran a prosperous city in Albion. focusing on production and careful expansion so as to build a solid economic and self-sufficient base. But when I went to Latium to begin my scenic adventures there again and got lost in the idyllic nature, something had happened in the north. Due to overpopulation, so I guess you could say I'd done too good of a job really, my workers had completely run out of food, prompting literally hundreds of them to leave. I completely panicked and for a second had no idea what to do. Then it of course occurred to me, Anno is a game not just of production, but of trade. And not just trade routes I set up myself between my different cities, but I can put items up for sale or for purchase at my harbors. So now, thanks to my expertly run provinces, I had amassed a gold chest so large that purchasing what I needed to get back on my feet was simple. Whenever foreign fleets came by, they unloaded their wares, helping my cities recover in return for gold, and my population returned. It's things like these that make Anno so incredibly fun, immersive, and addicting. It's not just the grand scale of the game that takes your breath away, but all the details, the beauty of a city, of an island being passed by a lone ship, of the option to view everything with a tilt-shift filter for that ultra-cinematic feel. It's all of the mini-quests you can choose to take on, and the sense that, you know, these aren't just towns in a game, but communities you cultivate over time. Communities that might turn into megacities, or perhaps lone islands that are simply meant to be small towns with specific resource extraction operations. It's the opportunity to build walls where you want to lay down a massive aqueduct across your city. It's the fact that everything is tied up into a technology system that you do well to research and plan for, or a system of deities that allows you to specialize a settlement, giving it unique advantages into the areas you want. It's the fact that swamps up in Albion, which can be used well mind you, can actually be drained and turned into habitable land. And the fact that all of this so organically fits into a narrative campaign that not only is fully voice acted, but beautifully so as well, even with its own cutscenes, perils and rewards, and that is seriously impressive. This is what Anno 117 Pax Romana offers, an immersive city builder meets trade simulator meets war strategy game unlike any other, and a game which I not only instantly fell in love with, but which has kept me in love ever since I first laid eyes upon it. If I've piqued your interest in this beautiful experience, make sure to follow my link below and play Anno 117 Pax Romana for yourself when the game releases November 13th on Windows, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Make sure to leave a like on the video, a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you so much for watching, thank you so much to Ubisoft for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!